Self-help groups. This video covers the 12 steps from the counselor's perspective. I encourage counselors, both substance abuse and mental health counselors, to consult the AA literature or other self-help group literature to become more completely knowledgeable about these steps. Step 1 says we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. This is the essence of defining a problem. Until someone realizes that they have a problem and that it's causing them issues, they're not willing to begin the process of change. Step 2 came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. You have to ask yourself why someone would need to be restored to sanity. But if you've completed the first step and admitted you're powerless over whatever your problem is, in this case alcohol, then it would be crazy to continue to drink. And so this is a further reinforcement of the importance of defining the problem and beginning to work on it. Step 3 made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. This leaves a lot of latitude in understanding of a higher power. It doesn't even have to be a particular deity, but it can be some moral principle that people are committing to stop doing things their own way and start to do things the correct way. Step 4 made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. The Alcoholics Anonymous, or Big Book, includes a specific set of directions for completing this inventory. But I think it's important for the counselor to understand one of the major areas of focus for this inventory is all of the negative emotions, anger, fear, and resentment. In counseling or therapy, those negative emotions are the things that need to be worked on and processed. Also, the book includes descriptions of how to do this inventory by thinking about it and writing it down. Step 5 admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. This step is typically done in AA or other self-help groups by talking with a sponsor. But in counseling, the counselor needs to consider this step and whatever the client's spiritual or religious beliefs, to engage those as part of the process of therapy. Telling the counselor about their negative emotions and beginning to work on them is important. Many clients come to therapy expecting the counselor to tell them how to change everyone else and change the world, rather than being willing to work on themselves. This step emphasizes the need to work on yourself, even if other people in your life are creating you a lot of problems. Notice also in step 4, thinking about it and writing it down, and in step 5, talking about it, the knowledge of these problems is further reinforced. Step 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Notice that the AA book avoids the concept of sin or evil, but looks at these defects of character as improvement opportunities. And it emphasizes in the 6th step that people don't change things if they're not willing to have those problems, those defects of character removed. So whatever issues the client is willing to work on, those are the issues the counselor begins working with the client on. Step 7, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. So in this step, we're being told that we need assistance in changing ourselves. Step 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. This is an important step, and it's important to differentiate the 8th step from the 4th step. In the 4th step, people are often looking at the things other people have done to them their anger, their fear, and their resentment, and processing those injuries. As you begin to move farther into your recovery, whether it's from substance use or mental illness, you begin to recognize that some of your actions have injured others. This calls upon the person to be willing to make amends. And notice amends is very different than apologizing. People who go out and apologize to other people usually expect the other person to accept the apology. And if the person you've harmed doesn't accept your apology, you've created more wreckage. But in this, it says being willing to make amends, and amends is defined as making it right. So if you owe someone something, whether it's money or time or some other thing, you do that, whatever you can, to make amends and make it right. Step 9, make direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So you can't clear your conscience by confessing something to someone if your confession would hurt them. So in this step, we're being told to clean up the wreckage and make amends as long as it will not create additional problems. Step 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Many people in their addiction or substance use, alcoholism, got in the habit of being dishonest with other people. There may be a lot of that dishonesty that needs to be changed. The person that is most important to get honest with is yourself, and this tells you to continue to look at yourself, and when you discover that you are wrong about something, admit it and try to fix it. Step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Many people find this step very liberating. Whatever your understanding of a higher power, praying is talking to your higher power, and meditating is listening to what the higher power tells you to do. As you become more and more aware of right and wrong and your connection with a higher power, you become closer to them. And the step goes on to say, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Some people interpret this as the requirement is to suit up and show up just to do what you need to do, and then your higher power is in charge of the outcome. So if you try and things don't work out, you don't need to beat yourself up over that. You just need to admit your mistakes and continue to try. Step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Notice that the outreach to other people is not limited to alcoholics. While you may, a person in recovery from whatever they're recovering from may try to help other people with a similar problem, they also try to practice these principles of being honest and making amends and so on with everyone else in their life. It just puts the life on a much more even keel. How does the 12 steps parallel the process of therapy? Well, steps 1 through 3 are the process of problem identification and developing a plan of change. The middle 6 steps, steps 4 through 9, are the process of change. And the last 3 steps, steps 10 through 12, are maintenance steps telling the person that whatever you did to get better, you need to continue to do. Research studies have said that people who continue to follow a program of change, whether it's taking medication or going for counseling or attending 12-step groups for about 5 years, make those changes permanent, and they have very low rates of relapse. Counselors should also be aware that there are a thing called 12 traditions, which are the basic rules for how various Alcoholics Anonymous meetings should be organized. I won't go through all of those, but I encourage counselors in training to look for the 12 traditions and read through them and become familiar with them. But 2, I think, are really important for counselors to understand. One is tradition 3. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. Here, the requirement is not that someone has stopped, and in essence, anyone can be an AA member if they simply say they are. Go to the meeting, want to stop drinking, and you will be accepted. There's no application, there's no required membership fees or screenings. It's simply a desire to stop drinking. Counselors should also understand tradition 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. When someone says that they participated in the 7th tradition, they're talking about the plate was passed around or the basket, and they put some money into it. AA doesn't go out and seek funds from anyone else. In fact, they decline contributions from other agencies or organizations because they don't want some other group controlling their activities. They pay rent for the rooms that they use, and the members put money in the basket to pay for it. So if you attend a meeting as a guest, as a student, wanting to learn about it, you want to make sure that the meeting is open to outsiders. Not every meeting is, but it's important to know as a guest you're not expected to put money in the plate. Only members are, and they put in what they feel led to or able to contribute, and that money pays for the meetings. What's ahead on the Counselor Soapbox video channel? More videos on drug counseling, drug education, mental health, and wellness. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button below. Comments are always appreciated. And if you want to see new videos in this series, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. For more information, please visit my blog, counselorsoapbox.com. David Joel Miller fiction and nonfiction books are available on Amazon.